The plot thickens in the battle for the U.S. Senate nearly every day, it seems. The focus now on Indiana, where last night Republican candidate for Senate Richard Mourdock was asked about allowing abortions in cases of rape and said this.
I struggled with it myself for a long time, but I came to realize life is that gift from God. And I think even when life begins in that horrible situation of rape, that it is something that God intended to happen.
Chris Cillizza joining us now. And Chris, Mourdock not backing down.
No, he had a press conference midday today in which he essentially apologized for those who misinterpreted his remarks. I think what he was trying to say is probably what he should have said in a little bit better language at the debate on Tuesday night, which is what he meant was every life is a blessing from God, not that God intends rape to produce life. Again, words matter, particularly in politics and particularly 13 days before an election. Richard Mourdock knows that. It's why he had a press conference. It's why Mitt Romney came out very quickly and distanced himself from the remarks. Anything that happens this close to an election has real potential to shake things up, particularly in a Senate race in Indiana that's already quite close.
Let's look at the last poll. It's from 2 weeks ago,
Sure.
But it had Mourdock up 47-42 over Joe Donnelly. So will this make a difference? I know I'm asking you to play prognosticator.
No problem. I think that this will be here's what we know. This will be a story both nationally and in Indiana for at least the next 24 hours, maybe the next 48 hours, and maybe beyond that, depending on how it plays. You never know exactly how these things play out. That's not what Richard Mourdock, who already has a little bit of a problem appealing to the center of the electorate because he beat Dick Lugar in the primary, who is widely seen as kind of this centrist Republican candidate. Dick Lugar has not endorsed Richard Mourdock, has kind of been down on Richard Mourdock. That's not the storyline he wants, even for 48 hours this close to an election.
The balance of the Senate, do we have a sense of how that's likely to fall out?
Sure. I mean, I think a year ago, Brooke, I would have said Republicans have certainly a better than 50-50 chance of taking the Senate back. They need 3 seats more if Mitt Romney wins the presidency. They need 4 seats more if Barack Obama wins the presidency, because the vice president winds up being the tie-breaking vote. So you need 1 more if you don't control the presidency. I think it's much less than a 50-50 proposition now for a couple reasons. Todd Akin's collapse is one of them. Missouri was a place that I think most Republicans expected themselves to win. Maine, you had a retirement by Olympia Snowe, a moderate Republican senator who would have won very easily. Now that state is going to likely be won by Angus King. He's a former governor. He's an independent. He doesn't say who he's going to caucus with, but we expect him to caucus with Democrats. So you've seen a couple of these races that we thought would be done by now. Indiana is certainly in that category. I assume that by this point in the race, Richard Mourdock would have put it away. Kind of come back a little bit and really make it so that Republicans need to run a little bit of an inside straight in order to get those 4 seats they need.
Speaking of inside straights, Mitt Romney needs to run one to get through all these swing states. Will this Mourdock thing affect that very close presidential race?
Certainly not in Indiana. Mitt Romney is going to win Indiana. Again, it's hard to know. I tend to be skeptical of what a Senate candidate in a particular state says directly impacting and hurting the presidential nominee. Democrats point out that Mitt Romney earlier this week cut an ad for Richard Mourdock. He has said he doesn't think that ad needs to come down. Sure, Democrats will make noise about this. I don't think that Mitt Romney loses Ohio or Virginia or Florida because of something Richard Mourdock said. It hurts the person who says it, typically. Harder to extrapolate it outward.
Chris, thanks a lot.
Thank you.